What is going on, everybody? Welcome into what's going to be a brand new realistic rebuild series here. Hopefully going to be taking the New York Giants to greatness here, and it's going to be a lot of work. Not a lot of cap space here. We do have a couple of first-round picks to get this thing off the ground nice and early. We got a couple pieces to build around, and I will go through that roster in just a second, but I want to lay the groundwork for this rebuild first. And before we even do that, I want to let you guys know, if you're into realistic Madden and competitive Madden, I encourage you guys to check out that description down below and apply for the TFGO League, my personal 32-man realism league. We've had some users drop off. We actually have like 4 or 5 openings right now, so it's a great time to get in. It is for next generation Xbox only, so if you've been able to get your hands on an Xbox lately and you want to join the league, please do check out that application down below, and we'll see you in the league. And then I mentioned I have some groundwork to lay and some narratives to display to you guys, and I want to start by highlighting what's going to be happening with this massive quarterback carousel around the league for the purposes of this rebuild, trying to keep it realistic and see some interesting scenarios play out with these quarterbacks. So kind of the first domino that's going to fall, I think, is Aaron Rodgers' decision. And in this world, he's going to be returning to Green Bay, which is what I think happens. But you'll see here, Jordan Love has been, traded in this rebuild, and he's going to be heading to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to fill in for the retired Tom Brady. So a good situation there for Jordan Love in year 3. Excited to see what he can do there. Then we've got the Deshaun Watson situation. There is a team here that's going to be making a move for Watson. It's a team that's been voiced to be interested in him, and it's a team that I actually had in my latest mock draft making this very trade, so we're going to do that. Deshaun Watson to the Houston Texans in exchange for a lot of pieces, including running back Christian McCaffrey, who will be heading to the Houston Texans. And the Panthers also, by the way, will be getting left tackle Charlie Heck back in this deal, a North Carolina native who had a decent year last year for the Texans, so a little offensive line help as well. But for the Texans, in this trade, they, of course, are going to be getting Christian McCaffrey. They will be getting Sam Darnold, just as a little throw in there, and 2 first-round picks, including this year's 6th overall pick. So the Texans have pick 6 and pick 3, and they will surely have lots of pick 6s if they start Sam Darnold. Some other quarterback movement here. Jimmy Garoppolo is headed to the Washington football team, now Washington Commanders. So they get a quarterback to hopefully see what this team can do, basically, as Ron Rivera and this defense want to succeed. So we are going to be taking these guys on twice a year with our New York Giants. And then our last quarterback carousel move goes in Indianapolis, as it's just a quarterback for quarterback swap here. The Denver Broncos, who were kind of the odd man out in this situation, missed out on Aaron Rodgers, missed out on Deshaun Watson. They are going to trade for Carson Wentz as kind of their last-ditch effort. So just a straight-up quarterback swap. These teams probably were going to end up releasing these quarterbacks, but there was mutual interest in this situation. Broncos want a little more upside. The Colts wanting, a little bit more of a safety net with their quarterback because they don't ask as much of their quarterback in Indianapolis. So a nice mutual swap there, and I cannot wait to see how these teams play with those moves playing out. But now back to our New York Giants. I want to show the sliders up front here. Everyone wants to see the sliders. It's always a hot topic in these rebuilds, and I'm actually going to be playing on All Pro for this because the All Madden is just very tedious, and the gameplay just isn't as realistic. I'm not going to be playing a ton in this, as I just kind of show the sliders as I talk here, so you guys can pause it and, write them down, whatever. But yeah, we're playing on All Pro because we're only going to be doing minimal playage of the actual game here. So I want the gameplay to look realistic. It's going to be a heavy focus on the team building here and the simulation aspects of this. So how we're going to do this is 3 games during the season. I will be doing what I've always called as my play the moments mini game, where I get 3 opportunities to do a moment inside of 3 different games. So just 3 games, and inside of each game, I only get 3 play the moments, and I can always play the last 2 minutes of any game. That's my rule. And then in another 3 games, I'll be doing full play the moments for the whole game. Whatever play the moments it brings to us, we will play that. I can play the full breakout of any player with that player for the full game. In the playoffs, week 18 of every season, if it's a must-win game or an important game, I can play that full game. And then in the playoffs, I do every game full play the moments start to finish. So again, 3 games per season with that little play the moments mini game, another 3 games per season where I get to do full game of play the moments. I always play week 18 unless we're eliminated and we just want to get moving. I can play any breakout scenario for a development trait for any player as long as I'm using just that player. And then in the playoffs, I will be doing full play the moments all the way through. But now that the groundwork has been kind of laid out there, I hope you're able to follow all of that. But I want to talk about this team now. So we're bringing Brian Daboll in, offensive coordinator from Buffalo, going to be using a vertical offense, very West Coast oriented, a guy that's able to really get multiple and diverse with his play calling, can do a little bit of everything. He pulls from different ties, so it's a great modern spread, West Coast offense, all that stuff, a lot of shotgun, inside zone, vertical concepts, play action, you name it. So it is an electric system here. And the beauty is offensively, we have the playmakers at least to bring that system in. And even like Saquon Barkley, in theory, fits really well with how he can contribute in the passing game out of shotgun in those inside zone runs. So very excited for the playmakers we have in place here. We got Galladay, bigger bodied perimeter guy. We got a speedster in Darius Slayton, can kind of play that Gabriel Davis role coming over from Buffalo. We even have Sterling Shepard to play that slot. We have Kadarius Toney, who we can get creative with, and then Saquon. And that's not even mentioning Evan Ingram, who's kind of been on the hot seat as this former first-round pick. I think he's up for a contract either right now or in this offseason. So lots of playmakers to put in front of Daniel Jones. Obviously, don't need to mention it. The offensive line is going to be a focal point. This team has come out and said that in real life. Anyone that's watched a Giants game knows how bad this offensive line has been. We've got our franchise left tackle in Andrew Thomas. Superstar development there. But other than that, it's a complete garage sale. So we're going to be focusing on that, of course. And I'm going to follow suit with what the Giants are doing in real life. I think... Obviously, Daniel Jones has his question marks, and I've been as vocal about them as anybody, but this quarterback class is garbage. So let's give him a real shot with a great surrounding situation. Let's evaluate him next year, and then maybe you get him back for a cheaper franchise contract, in the $20 million range, and maybe this offense can work, especially if the defense turns it on. So that's the plan. O-line on offense. And then defensively, this is very interesting as well. So the Giants have actually moved to Wink Martindale as their defensive coordinator. They were unable to maintain Patrick Graham, who ran this kind of hybrid zone-heavy defense here for the Giants. But totally different with Wink Martindale coming in, who is all about blitz, zero coverages, press man coverage, bump and run. every team is going to mix in their zone coverages, of course, but as far as schemes go around the league, Wink Martindale is aggressive and wants corners that can press and play man coverage. So that also requires a great pass rush, which is not something we have here. We have a couple of pieces of meat up front, Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence, which are good pieces, of course, for this system. But these edge guys ain't it, man. Azeez Ojulari is a good player. He might be a long-term answer as our number 2 guy here, but he doesn't offer that quick pressure ability. He's more of a speed rusher, get the corner. These systems, think Zadarius Smith, Pernell McPhee, Terrell Suggs. You got to collapse that pocket and get pressure quickly. So especially at our number 2 edge spot, that might be something we look for in the draft. Do we look at a Thibodeau, or do we look at Karlaftis or something like that to really crash that pocket? It might be something to think about, or even an Aiden Hutchinson if he's there. But that's going to be a focus with the offensive line. I am very excited to see these corners in this system. We got James Bradbury, who can totally press. He doesn't have that long speed, but as long as we protect him and don't put him up on, the Marquise Browns of the world and that kind of stuff, and don't let that lack of speed get exposed, he can be a monster. And then Adoree Jackson back in more of a man system here. That's where he's going to be more comfortable. Not much of a press guy, but he makes up for that with his speed. They gave him a ton of money, so I think in this system, you could actually have a really good cornerback duo there. And even guys like Robinson and Darnay Holmes are nice young 3rd and 4th pieces. So I am very excited to see what this defense can do, running a lot of aggressive blitzes, man coverage, and that kind of stuff. But there are some pieces that we're going to have to fill. Obviously, middle linebacker, we need a long-term answer there. We've got Blake Martinez on this team, and that's all I'm going to say right now. Giants fans love Blake Martinez. I think he's fine. Tackle machine. A good leader, but not a high-end 3-down linebacker either. And in a new system, I don't know how well he's going to hold up coming back next year. He's one of the worst man-cover linebackers in the entire league, and he's a bad blitzer. So I don't think Blake Martinez fits this system well at all. And maybe a trade of him to Las Vegas could make sense, but to follow Patrick Graham. But anyway, one last piece here that we're going to have to find an answer for is Jabril Peppers, who in this world, I'm going to use the franchise tag on. I think he's a good enough player that I don't want to just let him walk entirely. But we got to figure out how he's going to play in this new system, because he had a very nice role in Patrick Graham's defense. I don't know exactly how he's going to fill in here for this squad. So we also have Logan Ryan still in the roster. But there is your team overlook as we head into our first offseason here. However, I am currently sitting at negative $11 million in cap space. So we are going to have to make some decisions here. And with a minimal penalty on Darius Shepard, with all of those playmakers we have, and we are going to have to give an extension to Evan Ingram. He actually is an impending free agent. I'm going to shop Sterling Shepard for a mid-round pick here. He definitely holds value for somebody out there. I think the Browns would make a lot of sense to go get him. A team like the Falcons could use him, surely. Let's see. The one team actually showing a green light on this thing is the Minnesota Vikings, which does make sense. You got O'Connell coming over as their new head coach. They love those 3 wide receiver sets, and you've got 2 guys. Thielen's 32 years old, though. KJ Osborne had a nice year, but Shepard could play that Robert Woods role for this team actually very, very well. So I think this is an excellent landing spot for Sterling Shepard. The Vikings do not have a 4th round pick, which is probably his value. So what we're going to do is go a 3rd, and I'm going to send them a 5th back. So a 3rd, 5th round swap. God, this game is stupid. I'm literally clearing cap space to make this happen. All right. So I guess what I'll do is reduce his bonus now and then add it back on to another player, We need to get $4 million in cap penalty spread out over the next 2 years here. So a little bit of a wild workaround here, but it'll all come back. And it's still 380 over.
EA.
So, okay, let's clear some more cap space by releasing somebody here. Let's release Austin Mack. We'll clear $1.23 million in cap space. And now it should let us make the Shepherd trade here. Voila. So we're going to go third rounder. Hopefully they accept this. I think they will. We're going to give them a 5th. Boom. Trade accepted. All right. Now we have $850,000 of cap space. How about that? Another guy we can clear a ton of money on is the aforementioned Blake Martinez. $14 million cap hit this year. We can save about $9 million, 8.5 right there by releasing him. That contract to me is too big for anybody to trade for him coming off an injury. Giants fans might be frustrated with this one, and I know he had a good year, but that cap number is just unreasonable, especially as I mentioned, a new system. Patrick Graham is gone. Blake Martinez is going to have to play man coverage in this system. Think about why the Ravens went and drafted Patrick Queen, for example. Blake Martinez can't do that. His man coverage rating is 51. So while I think he's done a great job for the Giants in the Patrick Graham defense, at that price tag, we can't afford him. So Blake Martinez is going to get released here to clear up a ton of cap space. That's actually a no-brainer. There's other players here. Logan Ryan, another one that was brought in to that's a bad contract. We don't even save money if we release him, so we got to keep him. Rudolph, we can save $5 million and only take a $500,000 penalty. To me, that's a no-brainer. He just doesn't have it anymore. So we're kind of fixing some of these Dave Gettleman signings. This team actually looks like in Madden paid Kaleki Asemele. Let's do that over here real quick. That never happened. He's done. Asemele, I think, is washed up. I didn't even notice the team brought him in, but that's just a little fix real quick. So that never happened. And all of a sudden we got $20 million in cap space. Is there anything else we want to do? Remmers, we could rid ourselves of Mike Remmers here. Is this another one of these fake contracts? Is he even on the Giants? I feel like this is another one of those. Yeah, he's not even on the Giants. So let's fix that. Sorry I didn't catch this right away in the team preview. I knew that the left guard to right tackle was something we were going to have to overhaul anyway. So Madden actually signed some guys and gave them contract extensions. So I'm just fixing that here real quick. Armin Watts is another guy that's... What even is this? He's not even on this team. There's so many weird things that Madden does here. So this is another one I'm just going to get rid of him, I guess. Benardrick McKinney was extended by Madden. Lots of freaking stupid contract extensions being handed out here by Madden, but at least it's easy to fix. McKinney came in as an off-the-street free agent for this team, and I definitely think will be hitting the market, so we're going to clear him out of here. Billy Price at 3.75. We can get rid of him. We do incur a penalty, but we definitely don't need him. That was always a bad trade. Nick Gates, we can... he's our best interior offensive lineman right now, so we can't really do anything there. I think that's all we've got as far as clearing cap space. So now $32 million. We do need to figure out our Evan Ingram situation. So the game, of course, did extend Evan Ingram. So with contract editing, I can either choose to release him or negotiate a deal with him. I like this number right here. 1 year, 9.7 million. He really hasn't earned much, but with Daboll coming in, convince him to come back on a 1 year prove it deal, and he will start here. So I'm going to bring him back and just, especially with Shepard gone now, say there's going to be room for you in this offense, Evan Ingram. So we're going to bring him back at about $10 million and roll from there. So that was a roundabout way to get to where we are now, but let's keep this thing moving. Let's get ahead to the first stage of free agency. I'm not really going to focus too much on the scouting aspect of this year. We have imported my own custom draft class here. By the way, has just received a massive update for those of you with that next-gen Xbox, so make sure you check out the new version of the draft class. I put a lot of time into it. Excited to use it here, but I'm not really going to focus too much on the scouting aspect here because it's a custom class. We already know kind of who the players are. But let's take a look at free agency with our $32 million in cap space. I just want to make sure our team is put together in the right way because of some of the jankiness that just went on. So there you go. We got Evan Ingram and Peppers is there. So we're good. Let's check out the free agency here. Ideally, we can get someone on offensive line here. Zadarius Smith would be an excellent fit as well. He gets released by Green Bay so they can keep Aaron Rodgers around. Obviously, the connection between the Ravens scheme and Zadarius Smith, and that would open up those first two picks to just go offensive line. So Zadarius is very tempting. We did just sign him in the Steelers rebuild. It doesn't necessarily mean it'd be a dumb thing to do, though, because I do think he will become available as a high-demand free agent. But let's look at O-line here. So Cam Robinson is available. He is coming off his best year in Jacksonville, not asking for that much money, so that might be a good move. Eric Fisher would be an upgrade at right tackle for us. On the offensive line, we could steal Connor Williams from Dallas. Not the best pass protector in the world, but he would be an upgrade. At center, Ted Karras, who went back to New England and had a very good year for them. You got Brian Allen, who just won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Two great options there. Austin Corbett, who just won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Alex Kappa coming from the Tampa Bay Bucks. There are some options in free agency here. Right tackle, a guy like Billy Turner could make sense. So there are free agent avenues here to improve this offensive line. I don't mind Cam Robinson. Coming off his best year, like I said, I think he's a good Band-Aid for right tackle. But another player we did for the Steelers rebuild, so kind of targeting similar players. But I don't want to not do something here just because we did it in a previous rebuild. These are players that will actually be available in real life. It's not like Madden weirdness. I'm going to target Cam Robinson to be our right tackle. And I think he would get a lot more than the game is currently setting up here. I think you'll be looking at about a 2-year contract, so he'd hit free agency at 28 years old and probably about $23 million. So to keep this realistic, we'll split it up right around there. 2 years, $23 million, and he's going to be our right tackle. So he obviously likes that. And then I like the idea of Ted Karras, just because he's got experience. He can be kind of a leader and a balanced kind of almost captain for our front there. He'd be about a 2-year, $12 million contract probably. So right around there. I think that's good money for him at 29 years old. And then I also really like Alex Kappa as a fit here. Did a good job protecting in the drop back pass game for Tom Brady. He is only asking for a 1-year contract here. That's not really realistic. I think you'd be looking at similar to Matt Filer's contract to the LA Chargers last year. That was 3 years, about 22, 23 million. So I'm going to bump this up to replicate that. So the offensive line getting overhauled in free agency a little bit here, but also going to have the opportunity through the draft to address this but I think getting some established players is going to be key. And I don't know if all three of those will officially pick us, but that's a good start. Now, for the defense, because that's really all we need offensively, right, is offensive line. For the defense, it's really just middle linebacker and pocket pushing power for this pass rush. I'm going to stay away from Zadarius Smith. He's just a little bit too expensive. Doesn't mean there aren't other options out here, though. So you could go bring Jason Pierre-Paul back for a year. He's certainly regressing, but would be a scheme fit for us. Power moves down to 75 here, so probably not the best option there. Derek Barnett, maybe, could make sense. He's kind of a crafty rusher. He would be an upgrade there. Samson Abukum just had a great year for the 49ers. He might fit a little bit more, but I'm just not falling in love with these options. Olivier Vernon would be a fit. Bring him back to New York. I think that might be the move right there. Now, he's not getting any offers. He didn't really play last year coming off of injury, so he can be cheap here and provide some of that scheme fit that we need. The defensive interior, I think I'll end up moving Dexter Lawrence to nose tackle. We do actually need another piece in here. This defensive line got thin very quickly, so I want to get a piece there. I don't know if we necessarily need to pay for it. Mario Edwards would be a good fit. Can we get Mario Edwards for 2 years pretty cheap? He may or may not like that. Sebastian Joseph Day. We probably don't need to pay up for a player that good. I think I'm just going to leave that there for now. What about Mike? Martinez not getting any offers shows you the demand there. I think Jayon Brown actually would be a great signing here. A little bit of a down year for the Titans last year, so we're just going to go a 1-year prove-it deal for him. He's not crazy about that deal, but we'll see if he takes it. The rest of our team is in good shape. We don't have a ton of money to throw around, so that's going to be our first wave here. Let's see what we can lock up. All right, we got Vernon. We got those 3 offensive linemen, so already addressing our big needs there. So we're going to kick Cam Robinson over to right tackle. We've got Ted Karras at center, Alex Kapp at right guard, and Cam Robinson. Just don't have so many liabilities on this offensive line is the dream here. And it's not like we paid these guys so much money that we can't draft anybody at these positions. You can always move a Robinson to guard or make Karras a backup, but we got to pay these guys now because it is such a dire emergent situation. Another thing is the Bills. We've seen this in Buffalo. And we have the Bills' new general manager, by the way. They just the scout that came over to be our general manager, but they just keep throwing darts at offensive line to see what sticks. That's our strategy here with the Giants. So that's taking place here right away. I love it. Dexter Lawrence, we're going to slide into that DT role real quick. And we got to slide Olivier Vernon out to edge. So he's going to rotate with Carter. And potentially somebody if we draft him. What number did Vernon wear for the Giants when he was here the first time? I think it was 52? 54. He's getting Martinez's number. Perfect. Welcome back. Everyone loves a returning to home story. I actually want to make him right outside, opposite of Aguilari. Sweet. Now, Jayon Brown obviously did not take that contract that he was not exactly thrilled about, and he's getting hammered by offers now. So we're going to miss out on the Jayon Brown sweepstakes, which is fine. Is there anybody else? Jordan Hicks could work. Hicks is a decent cover guy. Josh Bynes has experience playing for the Ravens. Pretty poor coverage ability. I think the move is going to be to target Jordan Hicks for a year, who should actually not mind this offer as much. And that's all the money we can spend, so we're just going to keep moving. Can take a look at our first mock draft just to kind of see how the game is projecting this. They're projecting Hutch at 1, Thibodeau to the Lions, Hamilton to the Texans, Neal, and then they think we take Derek Stingley, which, you know, I'm not going to rule out taking a corner because Bradbury and Jackson are very good, but are they like future premier alphas? I don't know. And we're going to need a third corner. So it's an interesting projection. It's something to think about. They also think we take Kenny Pickett. That's not happening. Let's go ahead and advance a week towards the draft. Hicks still has not accepted our contract. I'm just going to let it stand, let it ride, and let's get to the draft. So I'm hoping for no thanks EA moments where they take quarterbacks here. I'm going to go pick by pick, and hopefully I don't have to restart this thing. Hutch goes 1. Trading up, by the way, not an option for me. Not really something that makes sense with our game plan, with the way the offensive board falls. I just don't think that's a value play for us. So Evan Neal does go to the Jets, meaning we probably want to go with Ikem Ekwonu, which is, honestly, we can just play him at left guard. I think if he were a guard prospect, he'd be the best guard prospect to come out since Quentin Nelson. And he is an elite run blocker, like as good as they come for run blockers. So I think it makes sense to grab him. And I think he'd be very comfortable at left guard, which is our one remaining weakness here. And I don't think a lot of Giants fans are going to complain about him coming out here. Hidden development, 21 years old. And pretty easy pick right there. So the Texans take Derek Stingley away from us. And now we have the 7th pick, which opens up kind of a can of worms here because, you know, I think Tyler Linderbaum could complete this offensive line. We did just pay Ted Karras, but we didn't pay him like this massive contract or anything. It wasn't enough that it means we can't take Linderbaum or something. I think trading down could be a good option here. We could go edge, would really be the only other thing we would do. I'm going to see if I can move down. I think that's the play. Is do we get any decent offers here to load up on talent? I don't want to move down too far. Pick 12, pick 11 with a third. That's not appealing to me. It could get an extra second next year and a 4th this year to move down 6 spots. And basically hope we can get either Linderbaum, Karlaftis, or Ojabo. I think that's a good move. I'm going to take that from the Ravens. And I'm curious who they're coming up for. They come up for Tyler Linderbaum. I'm okay missing out on him. We've put a pretty solid offensive line in there. And we just took a guard at 6. So Charles Cross is there. He's a very good pass protector. I don't know if he's a guaranteed upgrade over Cam Robinson, who we just paid. Ojabo is there. Malik Willis is there. I know a lot of people would be clamoring for the upside at that position. There's DeMarvin Leal, who could fill that defensive end position. Jermaine Johnson. David Ojabo is the fascinating piece here for me. He is a little bit redundant with kind of the speed element, but he has a little bit more power than a guy like, the other Georgia edge guy that we have that's not Ajalari. This is tough. I also like Andrew Booth a lot. Jermaine Johnson is tempting. We could take a middle linebacker. That's interesting. A guy like Nakobe Dean or Devin Lloyd. A little bit rich, but that did become a massive need. I'm tempted to take Nakobe Dean. Runs a 4.54. A-man coverage. That's the reason we got rid of Blake Martinez. You know what I might do is we already traded down once, so I'm not going to trade down. But I really think Jermaine Johnson would be an excellent fit. And we have all of these picks, so I think I'm going to take Nakobe Dean right now. I think he's a better fit for what we want to do over Devin Lloyd, who's just not the juiced up athlete here. So we're going to take Dean now, who does have hidden dev. And then I'm going to try and trade up to like the 20-ish spot for Jermaine Johnson, who actually has that power rush profile that we're looking for. Still no quarterbacks off the board, by the way, for all of this talk about there's always going to be a QB in the first round. I don't think the Steelers would take him. I doubt the Patriots will take him. The Raiders shouldn't take him. The Cardinals might. So let's see if we can come up with the Cards. Probably going to have to give up that extra second rounder we got to move down from the Ravens. So if we go like this, and they probably would want to pick this year too. So what if we give them a 4th? I think that's a great trade for both sides because the Cardinals kind of need a lot of cheaper contracts with the way their team's set up. So we are going to take Jermaine Johnson, Super Bowl. Oh, David Ojabo's still there, though. Man, this is bold, but I really think Jermaine Johnson better fits what we're looking for. He's the one with the power moves. And he has hidden dev. So Ojabo fallen a little bit, but I think it does make sense based on the scheme. So we've done a lot of trading. That was an exciting first round pick. I'm going to skip ahead to our third pick here, third round pick. And our attention now could shift. Nope, all the quarterbacks are gone. That's fine. Our attention should probably shift to corner. I think a tight end like Jeremy Ruckert could fit in very well because Ingram is not a blocker. So Ruckert's a good player that can block. I think he could make a lot of sense. Also, offensive line is somewhere we don't want to just ignore if there's someone we like. I do like Dylan Parham. We could take a bigger body defensive end if we liked someone here, or even just a guy like Neil Farrell or someone to provide depth at D-tackle, but I think this is a little early to go that route. Corner, you got Castro Fields is a really good press man corner, a Senior Bowl kind of star, probably the best guy for our scheme that's left. And I think that's a position that's harder to get later on. So I think I'm going to take Tariq Castro Fields, who does have hidden dev. And then we pick again here. Can we get the tight end still? No, he goes. So Sam Laporta out of Iowa. These mid-round Iowa tight ends have been a slam dunk for a lot of teams. He's not the athlete of George Kittle, but he does have a run block here. Only 70 strength, but I think he's going to fill in nicely as our tight end 2. And then we pick again in 3 picks. So maybe something we could think about is a running back with guys like Brooks and Zach Charbonnet available. Take a little bit of a load off of Saquon's shoulders there. I think this is smart to get a good backup running back in here. Saquon's had a hard time staying healthy, so can't really go wrong either of these guys, Kennedy Brooks and Charbonnet. I think we'll go with the better athlete, though, in Zach Charbonnet. Okay. And then we have a 4th round pick. Gotta love having all these picks. So let's turn our attention maybe to a defensive tackle here would make sense. And I like the idea of Neil Farrell. Just a guy with a ton of reps in the SEC. We don't need to start him or anything. You could also go with a younger player like Christopher Hinton out of Michigan. Gamble on youth a little bit more. Both decent prospects for like run defense, but let's take Farrell, who would he have played with Dexter Lawrence? I can't remember. 6'4", 325, and maybe we can double up here. We pick again in 3 picks. So maybe that's actually not a bad idea because we really don't have depth. So let's double up on D-tackle. That is actually a strategy that Bills front office does a lot of, is just double up on certain position groups and throw 2 darts instead of 1. So now we got to go to the 6th round. And here we can pretty much go anywhere. Get another playmaker type like Calvin Austin in there. That'd be fun. We could use another middle linebacker, honestly. Not a lot of great options. So probably want to stay away there. Yeah, that's a pretty thin crop right there. Safeties are all gone. You know what? Screw it. Let's take Calvin Austin. He can return kicks. It's a luxury pick, but we know what he is. Really good change of direction guy. Let's just get another athlete in there. Reminds me a lot, actually, of McKenzie for, right? Is it Isaiah McKenzie for the Bills? Again, the Brian Daboll influence there a little bit. And then, how about another press corner? Anybody else want to come in here and play a little bump and run? What about Isaac Taylor Stewart out of USC? Pretty poor. He does have B press, though, so we'll take him. 91 speed. I mean, interesting prospect there. It's a 7th round pick, so it's not going to make or break our draft. That I would say was phenomenal, honestly. Really exciting offseason. So as we look at our roster now, we're going to need a backup quarterback. Is he really this low? Okay, he's only a 67 overall, Zach Charbonnet. But he'll play. The morale for this team is just reducing these guys so much. Calvin Austin is a 68 overall. You can see the athletic traits there. Very exciting. Sam Laporta is only a 64. What's his run block here? 60. He's got good run block. Ekem Ekwonu is a 77. Not bad at all. Let's move him into guard. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually goes up as we move him inside. Let's give him 64 there. He does. He goes up to a 79 left guard. It's 94 strength. The pass block, very poor. We're going to have to work on that. But already mid-80s run blocking, so that's going to be a massive boost. With Ted Karras there, Alex Kappa, Cam Robinson, again, overhauling the offensive line. Jermaine Johnson comes in as a 73. We did actually sign Mario Edwards, so we're going to move him to right outside linebacker there. Mario Edwards is going to be our starting left end. Farrell and Hinton filling right in at defensive tackle. Both guys pretty solid, strength, block shedding, that kind of stuff. So filling out that interior defensive line, get a rotation in there. And then Nakobe Dean at a 75 overall, -3 morale. We're going to have to get this morale up for this team because that's pretty rough. Him and Jordan Hicks together should be a good combo. Deep edge group. What about Castro Fields? Just a balanced press man corner right there. Decent athleticism. Very similar to Amani Aruwariye coming out of Penn State a couple years ago. And then Isaac Taylor Stewart there. Obviously a project. But that is the offseason. And I think I'll leave this episode off there. It's already going to be about an hour-long episode. Looks like I'm going to have to kind of clean up with some of the cuts and getting this team ready. And I think I'll just pick up. I'll do some stuff offline, and I'll pick up week 1. The cutting situation shouldn't be too complicated or anything too interesting. So I think I'll just fast forward this a little bit. We'll hop in week 1. But until then, guys, thank you for watching. Please do hit that like button. Drop your comments down below. What do you think of the offseason? What do you want to see for this rebuild? Just let me know. Excited to get this thing off the ground. And we'll see you guys later. Peace out.